Hello, my name is Jacob, and this is the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Today I'm going to talk to you about my SIG 1911, the firearm that I've been carrying for 5 years every day with. But first, let's take a closer look at my specific SIG 1911 and what exactly aftermarket parts I have on it. The grips are from VZ. The mainspring housing magwell setup is Ed Brown. The extractor is EGW, it's their heavy duty extractor. Rear U-notch sight is Guncrafter Industries. My camera would focus here, there we go, nope. And front sight is Trijicon Big Dot. Except for the extractor, functionally, everything is factory SIG. The barrel is a SIG barrel that was installed at SIG, as was the trigger and the hammer. So there have been some small changes made aesthetically, but they were all done at Sig Sauer. Now, I bought this pistol used. Exactly how many rounds it has through it, I don't know. I can tell you for sure it has over 7,000 rounds through it. A lot of those were rounds while training. I mentioned that I've been carrying this every single day for 5 years. I've also been to Wave the Pistol with it at Tactical Response and through Vehicle Tactics with DTI and John Farnham. One thing that I want to mention is that the round count of any pistol is far less important than how that round count was, acquired. So it was a long path for me to go from literally, I was the guy saying that I've never had a pistol malfunction, to getting training and realizing my own limitations as well as the limitations of the pistol I was carrying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys some footage of my training, and then we're going to talk about the pros and cons of the Sig Sauer 1911, of this one specifically, and I'm going to really try to not talk about other 1911s or other pistols during this video, because this is a review of the Sig Sauer 1911. Stick around. So before I purchased the SIG 1911, I read a lot of reviews about other 1911s, did a lot of research. A lot of the people that really liked their 1911s would say that they loved them, but they'd replaced all of their internal parts with Wilson Combat parts. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted a 1911 that I could take out and run hard. As you saw in that video, you saw a very small amount of use in that video, but I've taken this on quite a few survival trips and the classes as well. And in these classes, I saw firearms of every type go down. Not just 1911s or A, B, or C, whatever. Everything went down. Essentially, depending on the shooter, maybe a lot of the times it was shooter error. A A lot of the times it wasn't. But what I realized with this SIG is that whether or not it went down was heavily dependent on the magazines. Real quick, to talk about some of the cons of the 1911 design itself, a lot of them come not from the design, but from the fact that it is an open design. Anybody can really make it, which means that the performance of one 1911 does not necessarily equate to the other. More importantly for this video, the performance of one manufacturer's product, say magazines or something else, does not fully equate to another's. So for instance, I ran a lot of magazines, and some of which are held to very high regard, and they suck. One manufacturer in specific that all of you 1911 guys know, the owner at SHOT Show told me that his magazines were not made for people like me. Which brings me to my next point. All of my accessories on this 1911 were purchased from brownells.com. I thank the Lord that I purchased those magazines from brownells.com because they were not going to honor their warranty since I used their magazines at Tactical Response, because apparently they make magazines for shelf guns, not for fighting pistols. When I review this pistol, it is from the perspective of somebody looking for a fighting pistol. The reason that I brought that up, not only does Brownells usually have either the best prices or close to the best prices online, but they offer a 100% warranty on everything that they sell. You don't have to worry about manufacturers. You don't have to worry about how it breaks, how it fails, or why you don't like it. They will replace it, even if it's 100% your fault. I've never taken advantage of that, but thank goodness I bought those magazines from Brownells. They gave me my money back, and hopefully, if more people actually started to run 1911s, that would happen more often, and Brownells would drop that company. But that's not going to happen because people aren't running 1911s anymore. Okay, anyway, so definitely always check brownells.com, and I'll pay a little bit more to buy something at Brownells just because they're so awesome. So check them out, and I'll get to it and get to the pros and cons of the Sig Sauer 1911. So first we're going to talk about the cons, sadly, one of which is going to be that external extractor. Now, I'm not going to go into the specifications of why it's a con or this, that, or the other. The extractors do have the potential to pass the 10-8 extraction test, but mine started failing the 10-8 extraction test, I think about 5,000 rounds in, and so sent it into SIG to get that replaced. They did it for free. They were awesome. And then about another 2,000 rounds in, I started failing it again. So since this is supposed to be my fighting pistol, my everyday carry pistol, I can't afford two of them. And if I'm going to be sending my pistol every 2,000 rounds to be tweaked or worked on, that's not really going to work for me. I can't be out of my carry pistol. So they use 416 stainless steel. I am kind of a steel guy, being that I'm a knife snob. And it's a great option for being cost effective and for being corrosion resistant. So this is not a part that you often remove from the firearm, which means that if you got water in there and it wasn't corrosion resistant, that you might just have the thing rust off potentially. You also might have noticed that I replaced mine with the EGW heavy duty one model. It's made out of a tool steel instead of that 416, so it should have a much higher service life. Now, according to the internet gurus, there is actually a problem with the design of the extractor itself. I can't really elaborate on that, but when it comes to a con, basically that's it for the SIG 1911. It is the external extractor on this model. So let's talk about the pros. Alright, you can see on my VZ grips here, There's a chip from the infamous tactical response drop test. This pistol has been through the mud, has been through the dirt, has been through everything. And like I said, I've carried it every single day. It's never been refinished. And to be honest, it's odd, but a lot of the scratches that show up on it literally go away. I mean, this entire finish here, you see a couple scratches from everyday use. This entire finish has all been scratched to crap. And I keep carrying it, and they start to become faint. I'll see if you can't, you might not be able to see it with my phone there, but if you look close, you can see some faint scratches, and they're kind of just in the process of going away. I don't know, this finish is absolutely tough. I haven't had to replace any parts besides the 1911 Extractor, the SIG Extractor. So that was one of the things that I was really looking for. Was I was not looking to buy a 1911 and then to change everything about it. I honestly feel that the SIG offers by a huge margin the highest quality 1911 under $900 with the best fit and finish. I absolutely believe that. I mean, high-end parts from the factory, from EGW, from other companies, awesome, just awesome quality parts that have been extremely reliable for me. One of the pros, the external extractor, and here's why. Extractors are probably one of the things that are funky the most often on 1911s. The internal extractor can lose proper tension, can lose proper geometry, and often it's one of the first things that goes out and it gets replaced. The external extractors can be replaced without hand fitting. It can be replaced by anybody. It's an easy part to work with, so you don't have to send it off if you can buy one. There's no hand finishing, there's no tuning, there's none of that crap. The other benefit to it, besides that, is that it's more affordable to set up, and I think that the external extractor on the SIG is one of the reasons that they can offer higher parts quality and fit and finish on every other part of the firearm than anybody else in their price range. Now there is the SIG the Smith & Wesson E-Series. They also have an external extractor, and I won't go into that, but they're also very good. But under $900, I would say that SIG has got the market cornered. Basically, in James Yeager's Why 1911 Suck videos, what he ultimately comes up with is, if you want a really reliable 1911 that you're going to go beat the crap out of, that you need to spend some money through Wilson Combat, Ed Brown, or Les Bear, whatever else, and I don't know that to be true because I've never run those guns, but I truly believe that if you're going to get a 1911 at under $1,000, the SIG is untouchable. SIG's customer service is great. If I could afford to have two of them, that would be even better, because then if I had to send one in, whatever. But the pistol absolutely performs. Now, if you're still watching, I wanted to do this review video at 1 year. I wanted to do a long-term review at 2 years. Even before I went and did training, I really shot this pistol a lot and abused the crap out of it. But it never failed me. But training puts you so much further outside of your comfort zone, so many more rounds, different positions, that you can really start seeing the potential of a firearm. So I was one of those guys that said, well, mine has never failed. I really hate hearing that now from anybody, because I've come to have a little better understanding of what that means. I'm glad that I didn't. You should never buy a pistol based on how it makes you feel. Based on marketing, based on looks. Even the way a firearm fits your hand isn't going to matter if you go get training, because you will adapt to it and it won't matter. The number one thing that you need to look at for a carry pistol is reliability. And so even accuracy is not really going to matter for a carry pistol, because you're not sitting at a bench and trying to shoot quarters at 50 yards. You're standing and shooting, and almost any pistol, probably even a high point, has a greater accuracy potential than a shooter standing, especially in a stressful situation. Now, the accuracy of the 1911 is very good. I'm not a target shooter, so I'm not going to elaborate on that. But I do feel that I've shot some great groups. I've shot this thing out at 50 yards and, banged steel with it. I've shot some nice groups, closer, 10 yards, 20 yards, whatever. But, so here's the deal, guys. This is a 5-year review. I'll probably never be able to do another review like this on my channel. I wish that I could just play like hours of footage of me using this pistol through everything that I've done. You can go back and look at my tactical response videos. I'll put a link to the first one right here in a card so you can go back and watch that. You'll see a lot of malfunctions, and they were magazine related mostly. But and I'm trying on this channel, I'm trying to only talk about positive things. So if you're wondering like who's good and who's bad, I'm not going to tell you who's bad. I'm going to tell you who's good. And then if I tell you not to go somewhere, you can just assume that they're bad. So same with knives and guns and stuff. But anyways, I'm going to start having a lot more gun reviews. I hope that you guys appreciated this review. I know it's not going to be as flashy and fantabulous as a lot of other reviews out there. But these people reviewing guns, they're not giving you what you're asking for. They're making a gun that they have for a week. They're making a flashy video to catch your attention to get those subs. And that's what I'm not what I'm about here. If you're looking for a budget 1911 or a production 1911, you probably shouldn't be carrying a budget 1911 as a carry gun, guys. But if you're looking for a production 1911 under $1,000, I have a lot of experience with other manufacturers, and in my honest opinion, the Sig Sauer blows them out of the water. Like, not even like is a little bit better, like blows them out of the water. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I look forward to talking to you, and I hope that you have a blessed day. Thank you.